something or other.
Something.
Yeah,
It's something. We are something, Jen.
we are something indeed.
Oh. Oh, that's so cool.
What is?
So I run Opera GX browser and it just went
Hmm.
boom, like what just happened to my computer and it just said too legit to crit is live.
Oh, there
Oh.
you go.
Oh. I
I
wonder
want
if
to get
they
to the bottom. I want to get to the bottom of this live streaming thing.
Yeah?
Because apparently I should be able to conglomerate the entire chat
Really?
into Riverside, and I can see
Okay.
Twitch. I
Okay.
can't see YouTube,
Oh. Oh,
and
that
I
is
can't
weird.
interact with YouTube, and I'm meant to be able to.
Yeah, that is strange. Other people in their shows have fancy music and heads up on their podcast. We just shoot the shit and
I lost the ability to do that when I stepped away from OBS.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Riverside doesn't allow you to do that.
I think it's okay. I think it's special. Like again, we have our little pre-show pre-game party.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it in like when I actually stream, or the very rare occasions where I stream, I'll
Mhm.
do like a pre sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Previously.
Um, but not. I can't do it on Riverside.
That's so weird. I mean, I get it. I totally get it, but it's a weird thing to lose. It's a weird thing indeed. I was actually on uh wherever we sell our merch. Foursquare?
Foursquare. No,
Okay.
Foursquare. Yeah, is it
Yeah.
Foursquare?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Foursquare. I think it's a Foursquare for something for but anyways, I was looking at that versus a couple other places, and it's so funny how many places don't ship internationally. I'm like, oh, you use the
Yeah,
whole thing.
It is weird. I'm just having slight issues because it seems to be that my Edge browser's completely fucking crashed.
Oh,
Yeah, I
whoops.
can hear you just fine,
Okay,
but the video seems to have,
really?
yeah, just died.
Oh, rest in peace, Dominus Christos, whatever.
That's really weird.
That's it.
It's
Dominus Christos, whatever.
okay. So that seems to be back on that desktop, but I think it's my desktop. It's very interesting. Hmm. Okay, if I change the source over.
You broke too legit to crit.
I have. I've brocked the too legit to crit.
Broken it.
I brocked it.
Broke it.
Back onto thingy. Alright, that was peculiar. It seems to be back on now. So yeah, it was essentially my second monitor that decided, you know what, fuck this, I'm done.
That was like my monitor at work the other day. It was like, nah. In the middle of a call too. So I'm talking to a customer and the monitor that I have all of their information on just bloop goes black. And I'm like, okay, ad lib time. Here we go.
Yeah, that was really peculiar because like I froze and you froze and I could still hear you, so I knew it was still running. But then I
Oh,
moved it to my laptop monitor and it was fine. So
that's weird. I don't like that.
nah, me neither. But we'll see.
I wonder if that's okay. Right.
Oh no, what time we on?
It is
Alright, it's
12:30.
all right, it's about time to get started now. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
all right. Thanks everyone who joined us for the pregame.
I need to write that down.
All right, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready when you are.
All right. Welcome everybody to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast made for those players who spend time between turns planning their next move.
So true. So true. I had made a TikTok about that, and that actually kind of blew up a little bit because it is like I'm all for people being on their phones during game. Not an issue. I don't get twitchy about it until it's like, so and so, it's your turn. Huh? What? Like,
Yeah,
ooh.
and the when you kind of when you know okay, so you're up, and they start going, well, it's like oh shit, man.
Or so what's going on? What's happening? Can you recap the last,
I mean,
everybody has their moments where they don't understand what's happening or they get caught off guard. I totally get it. I've been so many moves in advance planned that things will have happened since then that the last person to go right before me will throw me the off bed. I'm like, oh, I can't do what it's gonna do. Give me a hot second. But it's never been like, oh, I don't know. What should I do?
yeah, I mean, like the combat in D20 systems is fucking soul destroying enough. You don't need to fucking lengthen it even more by people going, I don't know. What I have seen GMs do, and I was tempted to actually start this maybe if I were to carry on playing Pathfinder, would be
Mhm.
just a timer.
I've seen that too. I really love the idea to an extent. Like, on one hand, I am distracted. On one hand, I'm like, okay, I love the idea because it kind of gives that element of realness. Like, you don't have time in a combat when you're role playing to be like, like if someone's coming at you, what are you gonna do? Like response like that. I love that concept, but at the same time, I would hate for my players to feel like super pressured if they are not feeling well or if they're
If it takes them more than a minute to take their turn, they should feel pressured.
I mean, I don't want to agree with you, but I'm gonna agree with you.
You know, and the way I would do it is you'd have a minute timer, and if the timer ran out, then your character delays.
Now, if it is a conversational thing where it's like, "Hey, can I do this?" and the GM's like, I don't like." Generally speaking, no. Explain to me why or how you want to do it. That's a different story completely. Like because I feel like
Yeah.
there can be some give and take conversationally or role playing. So that's why a blanket statement of like a minute, but like yeah, if it's as simple as like what move are you going to do to hit this person and it takes you longer than a minute, just hit the person. Just hit the
Yeah.
person. When all else fails, hit the person.
And what I would
or
do is like
creature.
if the minute runs out, then you delay. You automatically delay. Which then you can take your turn whenever, but your initiative count changes. So there
Yeah.
is a penalty, but it's not that
I
harrowing.
kind of like that. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, okay, fair enough. You quote unquote lose your turn, but you only lose it for that moment. If
Mm.
after a turn you kind of go, I know what I want to do now, and then jump in, cool, but that's where your initiative is now.
Yeah. I actually kind of like that idea. I know some people are real rule sticklers on like, oh well, the initiative is when the initiative is, but I'm like, but see, I also know players that use that to their advantage. Like if they know down the line how the initiative plays out, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm just gonna wait and then I'll go later." Like,
I mean, but that's the whole point of the delay in
yeah,
initiative anyway.
yeah,
It is for players to have that control and
yeah,
to kind of go, okay, it's going to benefit me more if I go after the cleric who's going to cast whatever.
yeah,
So I'm going to delay my turn until after that. That's the whole point of it, and I've got no problem with that. It's a tactical form of thinking.
if it is tactical and if it is in character, I'm all for it. If it is the min max players that are trying to meta, no thanks. Like, but you have to again. That goes back to the conversation of having to know your table. Like nobody at my table would min max one person, but but again, know your table. So yeah, but
But I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of why one of the reasons why Fabula, despite being another one of these card collecting ability
yeah,
combining systems, I don't mind it because it strips away all the let's avoid metagaming bullshit and just kind of goes, just do it.
yeah,
You know, you pick your turn. You know the order
hmm
of operation within the party is
yeah,
dependent on how much it benefits you. So if I at the first start of the 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 party's turn guard you,
hmm
I will keep that up until the end of the next party's turn to expand
yeah,
the time as much as possible. And I
hmm
like the fact that it strips all the pretense away of yeah, you need to think tactically. You have to do this in order to
yeah,
win.
and I love it when games give you that opportunity to do that in character, like
Hmm.
tactically working as a team in character. I don't know how many times mutants and masterminds have been like, "Hey, can I forfeit this in order to work as a team in this situation?" And usually, like GMs don't have a problem with it. Um, but yeah, no, in character tactical teamwork, I am all for as long as again, it's not an excuse for, you know, okay, for example, playing Shadowlight and Persona. Um, I had an ability that I didn't know I had, and the GM at the time, our dear friend Craig, was like, just what do you want to do with it? And I'm like, I have to think about it because I wanted to make that decision in character, not like, oh, we're facing a pile of grass. Obviously, my sword has cool fire powers because that would break the game and I would insta win. And I'm like, my character would not have picked that in the beginning, So that's the only time where I'm like, time out. Let me make sure I do this in character because I don't want to just like cheat, basically.
I think an element of the meta has to be kind of permitted, especially
Yeah.
in games where there is an accumulation of abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In games where the abilities are very well defined, these prerequisites, this is a trigger, this is what happens upon said trigger.
Oh yeah.
I think there has to be a sort of allowance for the
Yep.
players to kind of go, look, we've never faced one of these creatures before, but I'm looking at the fucking thing. Can I not tell it's undead?
Right?
And it's a
Yeah.
case of going,
No.
yeah, you don't need to necessarily succeed at a knowledge check
No.
to recognize that it is an undead creature,
Yeah.
considering it's walking around and its ribs are exposed.
I've never understood the games that I've seen where people like don't allow common sense. Like, do they
Yeah,
look
that's
like a shady person? Well, I don't know. Roll perception. I'm like, yes, you roll perception for details and things like that. But like, some dude comes into a building with a hood on, sunglasses. Don't matter who you are, you're gonna notice them. But
yeah.
you can get into the argument of like passive, abilities and shit like that. So that's mechanics.
Yeah, but
Mechanics.
unfortunately, when you have systems that are very well defined, where the
Mm,
mechanics are very well thing,
yeah.
there is a limit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I found that systems that are a bit more arbitrary and a bit more open, it gives you a lot more leeway for
It
things like
does.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you are,
Mm.
if you are playing again back to Pathfinder, if you're playing Pathfinder and you don't have, I don't know, a knowledge of the arcane and a dragon pops up, it's like, well, you know it's a dragon. You live in a fucking world with dragons.
No,
People have told stories about
it
dragons.
could be a Komodo lizard that's got bad acne and has been living in the sewer for too long and it just got really big.
I will, however, change one thing about my argument.
Yeah.
And one thing Pathfinder Second Edition did really well is they changed the term knowledge checks. Knowledge checks to recall knowledge. So
Oh, okay.
if you try and recall knowledge and fail, it's not that your character doesn't necessarily not know, so he doesn't remember.
I kind of love that
I
actually.
think it is a cool sort of twist on
Yeah.
it's a simple thing. It's not changed anything mechanically,
No, but
but you just kind of go, yeah, you can't quite remember what that is.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, it is quite a cool
Hmm.
little addition.
Hmm.
So, how has your gaming week been?
My gaming week has been good. It's been chill. I ran last, so we did a heavy RP session. There was no combat, which is very rare for one of my games. Like, not that I'm like combat has to happen. I just present my players with choices, and they tend to, smack things, or they tend to not trust things. My favorite part of the game, though, is that it's super cheesy, super cliche, but there's a dream walking scene that's going to happen next time I run, where basically they are getting souped up on like magic drugs, and they're going to go see visions with some spiritual guides. It's pretty straightforward to the point. But they all like failed their con saves, and two of the characters took a bowl of this stuff that they were supposed to share among the three of them and just downed the whole thing by themselves.
Nice.
So, like, I love it when my players mess up like that and then roll with it because it's like, oh, okay, like I will have so much fun with that next session. So it was good. But tonight I play our fantasy river mill game that it's the most recent one. I love it. And it's just nice. The game after IGM always has that like feeling of you know. So
Yeah. So that was last week. Did you play anything else, or is that?
did I play anything else? I did. I played No, I didn't. That was before the last show. I played Tales of the Valiant. And then I played
How
Sunday
was that?
night. It was good. It
Have we
was
have we spoken since then?
briefly, yeah, because I did
Hmm.
it Saturday night and then we had the game last Sunday or the show last Sunday. It was good because remember the Canadian Paladin, but
Yes, I remember the Canadian
yeah, I
Paladin.
had to
Yeah.
leave short, which was upsetting. But Rob wants to run first again, so we'll be doing that again. But no, I just GM'd. It's gonna be chill. But then moving forward, like I have a pirate board game coming up, and
That's one I've always wanted to
yeah,
play.
it's gonna be good. I'm so excited. Um, I've got a household game coming up, and Covenant Crucibles coming up. Something else. I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry if someone scheduled a game with me and I forgot about it. It's in my calendar, I promise. But off the top of my head, I'm like, so March is going to be heavy gaming, which I'm super happy about because I just want to play. Like I don't have to stream. I
Yeah,
just want to play. So if anybody's like, "Hey, can we come play?" Yes, come play. It's like it's whatever. So
nice. So
yeah.
I didn't get massive amounts of gaming done last week.
Oh no.
Monday we didn't play Pathfinder. Instead, I did like a makeshift Blades in the Dark heist, which was a ton of fun.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So yeah, we were a player down. So instead of playing Pathfinder, I literally threw together a Blades in the Dark heist in about 5 minutes, and it was great. They were trying to break out an alchemist out of
Oh,
jail, as it were,
why
but
was the
because he was
alchemist in
so
jail?
because it's Blades in the Dark and everybody's a bad guy
Oh,
essentially.
okay.
So they were trying to break this guy out, and he was so sought after that the Bluecoats, which are the police, as it were, but they're a
Okay.
criminal gang, just like everything else. They had him on a moving train.
I
So the
love
whole
train
heist
games.
was to board the train, get the guy, and
Okay.
escape.
What
And
kind
it
of
was
train are we
fucking
talking?
brilliant.
Modern train, old school
Well,
train,
it's like
futuristic train?
Victorian.
Victor.
Blades in the Dark
Oh,
is set in
okay.
Doswell, which is equivalent to our Victorian times.
Oh, cool. Okay, I'm here for that. I trains make me happy. Doesn't matter. Like I could rewatch Bullet Train a jillion times in the row. In
I
like,
enjoyed the shit out of that.
so good, and it's got so many like good actors in it. My number one favorite, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. Yeah, no, it's good. Now that I'm saying, going, man, I should run a Bullet Train game with like a timer somehow in it. How would
Okay,
one?
so maybe because obviously, if you're doing it where it's all different assassins trying to compete for a goal, you might
Yeah.
want to look into something like Deathmatch Island.
Okay, hang on. Let me write that down. This is my brain. Like I never sit there and be like, that looks like a fun game. My brain goes like, boom, I want to play this, and then later it's going, what system can I use to play that?
Deathmatch
What
Island,
did you just say?
we covered on the show
Death Island?
ages ago.
What'd you say? Death.
Deathmatch Island.
Thank you. Memory of a goldfish, I swear.
I think we got to bring it up on the shed. 1 second.
Oh, pretty art.
All right, so Deathmatch Island it basically takes the concepts of like the Hunger Games and anything like that, where it's a bit of a battle royale.
Mm-hmm.
So you could quite easily adapt that to like having it localized on a train.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Ooh.
there are some mechanics that you won't be using, like there is a fame mechanic where the better you do, the more famous you get and the more sort of boons you can get as
I could implement that.
But yeah,
Why does it
so
sound like Hunger Games?
it is very much Hunger
Is
Games.
it? Okay.
It is very much
Mm.
that sort of genre
Mm.
of televised violence.
Okay. All right. Let's do a bullet train game. All right. That sounds like so much
Yeah,
fun.
Bullet Train sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Deathmatch Island could work, and I'm trying to think what else.
I don't know. I mean, like, to be fair, you could make anything work. But I like the idea of it being a game, a working against a clock, like everyone's got their objective. They're trying to achieve something against each other. I like that idea. That could also get really ugly if you're not careful.
I mean,
Like,
yeah,
you'd have to play with people who are good losers. Like, in case someone gets taken out, they're not gonna like flip the table and pout. But
well, I mean that all depends on the players. But if they go into the game knowing that that's a possibility,
Yeah.
then there's no excuse.
Right.
You know, it's not like hijacking a D&D game with PvP.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, I get that. I get someone kind of going, well, that was fucking shit.
I stopped a game for that reason. They had good reason to want to hit the other player character.
Mm.
Yeah. But I was like, and we're stopping. I was like full breaks. Like, I'm not even gonna like try and GM my way around that. I'm like, nope, time out. Like, we need to have a powwow because I don't know what's happening, but like y'all need to chill.
When that happens, I take mechanics out of it,
Oh, that's smart too.
like
That's smart too.
completely out of it. Just nothing that happens to that character is mechanically relevant. Even if it's
smart.
even if it's I steal from this person. Cool, you
Mm.
steal. Roll a stealth. Yeah, you succeed. Does he? No. Okay, how much do you get? Yeah, but you don't add that to your loot. It's non-existent. It's all for narrative.
I like that. I like that a lot. Steal from the stealer.
Because that way you're not taking away any agency, but at the same time you're not
Yeah.
souring the party.
I think it kind of depends on context. Like if it's all for fun and games, then it's all for fun and games. Bella just scared the shit out of me. It's all fun and games, it's all fun and games. But if it's not, for anybody listening, Bella is my German Shepherd who likes to apparently just stalk around corners without telling me.
Well, she was behind you at one point. I've lost
She
sight of her.
was. She's a ninja, and I don't understand how a German Shepherd can be sneaky because anybody who owns a German Shepherd, like they're derpy, lovable, wonderful, like guard dogs. She is sneaky. Like one minute she's behind me, next minute there's like a shadow in the corner. But yeah, all right, Deathmatch Island. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It sounds like a lot of fun. Our friend Chris has got it and he wants to run it, but
Oh,
we just
cool.
need to find time.
Yeah.
And you know, after my vacation in March, I'm coming back and definitely going to get some more games under my belt. We've got some
Yeah.
that we need to finish.
Yeah.
Um,
Shadowlight and Persona is one of them.
Shadowlight and Persona, Mutants and Masterminds.
Yeah.
And
Man, talk about
Fabula.
leaving on a cliffhanger.
Yes. So yeah, we need to get them out of the way. But I also want to start running other things. Definitely want to start getting into Savage Worlds.
Yeah, Savage Worlds is so much fun.
Yeah, it just seems like it.
The
It seems
chat
like a
just asked you
perfect
that, by the
middle
way.
ground.
The chat was like, "Hey, John, how's your Savage exploration going?"
It's going well. It is going well. I'm pretty much, you know, I've covered the rules now for the most part. I'm
good.
pretty well set on what to do. Now it's just coming up with a right setting to trial it. And I don't know what that's what I'm stuck on. I don't know what I fancy playing in.
Yeah, because you usually do like pre-built stuff, right?
I don't want to do pre-built though.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You usually do like with your code.
When I'm trialing a
what's it
system,
called?
I'll do pre-built.
Code Green?
Delta Green.
Delta Green, thank you. My English is gone
Delta Green
today.
is, you know, Delta Green only because the way that they're written I really enjoy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
But as far as pre-built adventures, I'm not enjoying them. Like I've read a couple of pre-built Savage Worlds adventures, and it's just I could do better than that. I can I can not necessarily better, but I can do something more more me as opposed to.
I don't think I've ever run an adventure, to be honest. I want to. There's some good ones out there. But like I think the closest I got was I read a adventure like plot twist and I took the twist and completely mutilated it and turned it into something else in one of my games. But yeah, I don't think I've ever actually followed an adventure. Maybe I should do that. Challenge myself. Be like, can I color inside the lines? Probably not.
What I am thinking of doing is possibly getting Savage Pathfinder and just running a Pathfinder Society scenario.
Okay, yeah.
Something I know like the back of my hand. I know the world. I don't need to really worry about that. But that's again, it's just finding what I'd be happy to run.
Yeah, and what's gonna keep your, I guess, creative attention flowing the longest. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still debating. I think I'm leaning sci-fi, but not entirely sure.
That's my jam. I love me
But
some
yeah.
sci-fi. Need more of it in my life. Which is so funny because as much as I love sci-fi, like it is my go-to comfort zone. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna run sci-fi. I think the closest I'll get to running sci-fi is supers. Like I don't know. I think I like playing it too much that I don't want to GM
No, I think
it.
I have found a Savage Worlds what do you call it?
Mhm.
Edition or Savage Worlds supplement, which is for like space combat and aerial combat and dogfights. So it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
ooh, having like a sci-fi thing and include that.
Yes.
It'd be like,
That would be so much
ooh,
fun. I actually, speaking of dogfights, I saw Captain America, the new one.
is it good? I want to see
Brave
it.
New
I
World.
really want to see it.
Oh my god, I loved it. Here's okay. I'm not this is not a Marvel podcast, but here's my quick rundown. Okay. Um it is a first. It is a first. It's rebuilding the world for us to relaunch into Marvel, right? Like it's
Yeah,
kind of whatever. It had to carry a lot of heavy weight and it had to cover a lot of ground. So it definitely has that feel of a movie of going like, okay, you're laying down a lot of
yeah.
information. But that being said, I fucking loved it. I loved it. Sam's always my Captain America. Like I get that like Steve Rogers is the OG, but Sam making the choices that he had made really just like hits home for me. So I
Yeah.
love him in the first place. But yeah, no, it
And
was
plus,
really
Anthony
really
Mackie's
good.
such a good fucking actor.
Such a good actor. But yeah, no, but anyways, this does relate to what we were talking about. There's a scene where there's a combat scene over the Indian Ocean. And as a little kid, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. And for many reasons that did not happen. And I was just like, I was blown away. And immediately I was like, I gotta do an air fight. I need to run a game where I can run an air fight because like it was so good. So that's been on my brain is like, oh, how do I do a game with an air fight in it? And I'm telling you how I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it in Household with the fairies.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm gonna use like fighter pilot tactics
Hmm.
with fairies. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that could work. I like the
It's gonna
idea.
be weird. It's gonna be weird as hell, but I think it'll work. And I think it'll be just weird enough that it'll be right up my alley without it, Yeah, that's my game plan.
Yeah, definitely. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am thinking of doing a sci-fi sort of based thing
Yeah.
with some like space combat involved.
Yeah.
So I've got an idea that's loose, but I need
Ooh.
to actually get things written down.
Yeah. Writing things down is so hard. I was working on a game mechanic.
Is that the quote you want to go with? Writing
What?
things down is so hard. Are we
I
are
mean,
we are we certain? Hey, is that how you want to phrase that?
ah, everything is hard. Everything
Yeah,
is
because
hard
that's so much
because that's
better.
so much better.
Episode title:
um,
Everything is
everything is
hard.
hard. It is. It is. Everything is hard in life, which is why we play games. You
That
know.
is that is 100% true.
It is. Although, what's funny is watching Captain America yesterday and seeing how they did not pull punches. There is a lot of political relevance in that movie that I was like, oh shit. Like, the history of comics is like they politically narrated and mirrored what was going on in the real world, right? It
Yeah,
was a way for people to escape. I was not expecting Marvel Studios to take that path with their movie. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I kind of looked around like, oh man, like, is someone gonna like, okay. But I got to thinking about that. You're gonna be proud of this segue. Um and
come on,
how
don't
games
disappoint me now.
games, same thing as comics. Comics were used to kind of like relieve situation. And we've seen a lot of posts lately about how people are using TTRPGs to dive into escapism of the real world, right?
Yes.
Um, and I found this game, which isn't like a new game or anything. I can't pronounce it correctly, but Eat the
That kind of
Reek,
pause for a
right?
second.
Eat
Gonna have
the what is
okay.
I can't say it. Eat the
Eat the
Reek?
Reich.
Reich. There we go. Thank
Eat
you.
the Reich.
Eat the Reich. Yep. Eat the Reich.
Eat the Reich.
It's beautiful. I love the book. I love the game. I don't know if I love the game system. I haven't read that far into it yet.
Hmm.
But the setting is vampires taking out Hitler and Nazis. I'm like, I wonder, like, as much as people are like TTRPG games help escapism and get away from what's going on in the world, do you think it does anything else? Do you think playing TTRPGs like, I guess, bolster a community? Do you think it does anything other than just, oh, it's a game to help me? Like, because not to get cheesy, but comics, like originally Superman, like were used to give hope and storylines and kind of comfort. And I'm wondering if TTRPG games do that. But yes, this is the one. It's so pretty, and I want to be a vampire taking out Nazis. I think that'd be a great game. It's beautiful. The pictures are so colorful. Like, this is
So,
so vibrantly my aesthetic. It's painful.
it is. I mean, the artwork's fucking phenomenal.
The colors.
So I think escapism is hugely important, and I think being able to escape into these sort of worlds that we create is critical in a time like this. But I do think there is also an added element where it can be, in a way, a sandbox to kind of trial out your position on things.
Yeah. A lot of people use it, like a lot of therapists use it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it is experiencing things, but within the confines of a safe space.
I actually love what Sam just put in our chat. She goes, I think it can allow people to safely face issues they might be dealing with and gain a sense of control if they feel helpless. And I'm like,
100%.
that's solid.
That is a great way, a very succinct way of putting it, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, so this game is beautiful. I can't get over it. I will be wanting to run it at some point or play in it. If someone wants to run it for me, I'll play in it.
So D6 dice pool. We have actually covered this on the show ages ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a D6 dice pool, Havoc engine that encourages creative violence. There we go.
It's my jam.
Enemy reinforcement rules to keep the vampire invaders on their toes. Pre-generated iconic characters, gruesome augmented Ubermenschen.
Ubermenschen.
And non-accurate maps of Paris with lots of location details.
I just love how like games can circle about. Like you said, you covered this forever ago, right?
Yeah.
But given temperatures of the world right now, like I've been seeing this pop up a lot more. Like
that's it. Yeah, you are seeing more of a trend for these sort of games lately. With completely justified.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely justified. But I for one thing am a sucker for D6 pool systems. Like I love them.
Yeah.
They make me
one of
feel
my
so
favorite systems is D6 pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
What's
is.
I think it's just... Is it D10 or D12 the popular one? I feel like D12 is the indie. I think D12 is the indie popular
D12
one,
is seeing a resurgence.
Yeah, because
there are a lot of systems that are coming out that are D12. Our very own Covenant Crucible is a D12 system. Coyote and Crow is D12. I think it is like going through this resurgence. D20 systems are kind of falling behind, as it were. I see.
Yeah, I want to roll something like you're gonna laugh. My issue with D20 systems right now is not even like mechanics. Okay, that was my first intro to TTRPGs. I'm always gonna have a soft spot for them. Are they flawed? Yes. Not getting into that conversation. My issue is I want to roll more than one dice. Like, like they're so pretty and they make clickety clackety sounds and like there's different shades and colors. And I buy artisan dice, so like I want to roll the dice. Like I don't want to just roll one die and be like, okay.
What I'm enjoying more now, I don't think it's necessarily about the dice that's used.
Yeah.
It's about the fluidity.
Yeah.
Right. So with a D20 system, or at least the ones I've played, whether it's 5e, Pathfinder, M&M, it is a case of, okay, so you roll and add a bonus. All right. So even if the bonus is easy to add,
right,
I think that does cause a very slight delay. Whereas in other systems, I'll put Delta Green as an example, you roll a D100, you have to roll below a number.
Yeah.
That fluidity of going, I failed. without having to give it a second thought. We're just rolling, seeing the number and going, shit, I failed.
I'm
Or
gonna use a phrase, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way because I know that that's gonna be taken that way, but it dumbs it down in such an easy digestible mouth bite. Like it's not like this whole thing of oh god, okay, I have to remember this number plus this number plus this number, but then what is this? It's just like this is your bite. This is the bite of your cake. Like eat this.
yeah. Blades in the Dark is okay. If you get a 6,
Yeah.
you succeed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. You roll however many d6. If you get
Mhm.
a 6, you have succeeded.
That's what I love about Household too, is that it's not Household is I know I talk about it a lot, but like it's that in between that I love so much because it's not just like, you know, oh, you're aiming for this number, succeed or fail. It's how many matches did you get? It doesn't matter what match it was, just how many matches did you get?
Yeah.
And I love that because it is a little bit of like it feels risky. Like it feels kind of like, oh, all right, like first, like what are we gonna get? But it's not. I don't know. I
mean,
like it.
I'm enjoying those systems more. Again, not necessarily about the type of dice, but the type of
Right.
fluidity where a player knows whether they've succeeded or failed without having to consult the GM.
That was oh my god. I think it was Tales of the Valiant. You're gonna laugh so hard. I had my character sheet up, I had my dice roller, everything was fine. And I was rolling and I was like, who's gonna be my math person? My brain was so fried. I was like, I'm not even gonna try to math this. I'm just gonna tell you what I roll and what my modifier is. Can someone math for me? And it sounds so stupid. It makes me feel so little and like uneducated, but I'm like, I don't have the spoons for it. Like I don't want to math today.
I mean, I understand that. I completely understand that. And coming from a Pathfinder background, it's okay. So I need to roll this d20, right? And I need to add my +7. Okay, so I need to add my +7. Oh, but I'm getting a +1 from this source, so I need to add that as well. Yeah. Oh shit, I completely forgot that I was adding a +1 from here. And then the GM in the background's kind of going, oh, okay, well, these have got a -2 because you are flanking and all this. And it just becomes, I won't say necessarily hard because it's not, but it just becomes a lot of unnecessary back and forth.
Yeah.
Whereas with games where you roll the dice and you know whether you succeed or you fail.
And if you want to do math, if you want to do the crunchy crunch numbers minus plus, that's awesome. That's great. I have a threshold. Like I like crunchy to a point. Like I'm a granola girl, but I'm not gonna make my own granola.
I get that. It's you know, and it just gets to a point where it's. And I mean, I got to a point when I was running Pathfinder for the Society where I'd give people the DCs and ACs and whatever they needed to do because it sped up like combat, for example. It's like, okay, guys, AC is 20. You will know whether you succeed or you fail when you roll the dice.
Yeah.
And
although
that
I
way,
do have to
that way there's no back and forth. There's no, it doesn't create that unnecessary time sink of going, oh, does a 19 hit? No, unfortunately, a 19 doesn't hit. Where it's like, okay, you're aiming for 20. Go for it.
I do love those TikToks though. Because I am on gaming TikTok and it's the best thing ever. But they'll be like role playing on TikTok. They'll be doing a video of, you know, does a 23 hit? And the DM's like, no. And then the coloring goes red as the player's like, what? Like, what the fuck? I do love that like suspension of like, wait a minute, what the fuck are we dealing with? Which, if you're me, no matter how hard I make the combat, doesn't happen anyways because my players are like fucking beasts, and it's not even a numbers thing. Like they'll be like, "Oh, okay," and they'll think so far out of the box, and I'm like, "How did you?" I don't even. I'm not as smarter than my players, apparently. I need to work on that.
There was one of those things on TikTok where there was a guy going, this is how you become funny in tabletop role-playing games.
No.
And it was, and he was just saying all these really cheesy bullshit things that GM and players do to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I was guilty of about 4 of them.
No.
It's like, well, fuck me then. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was one in particular.
I love getting called out. I have no problem like
Yeah, where
ragging
it
on
comes, yeah,
myself.
it's just like, oh, you have to do these to be funny, and it's like, yep, I've done that.
Whoops.
Fuck.
I always wonder how many stereotypes I play into. Like, I try not to. I really do try to avoid stereotypes. But there's a couple of sessions where like I'll reflect afterwards and be going, "Oh, I just did one of those sessions."
There
Like,
is one thing I do which I will always do because I find it so funny. It's when somebody rolls something and they get a number and it's a failure. And then they go, "Oh no, wait, because I forgot this bonus." And then I'll go, "Oh, so what would that give you?" And they go, "A 23." And I go, "Ah, still fails." Just because I enjoy doing that so fucking much.
Connell will go to roll and it's like a pivotal moment, and he does this, and it pisses me off so much because he'll just yell. He'll be like, "Nat one," as we're throwing the dice, right? And what's even like, it's infuriating because then it will be nat one. The amount of times he jinxes us,
To be fair, he's got a 1 in 20 chance of it happening. I mean,
Thanks, John.
it's not like it's a fucking superpower.
No, it's just annoying.
I get that, but it's like it's it's a 1 in 20
stop
chance.
doing it. Connell, if you're listening, stop doing it.
Connell, carry on doing it, please.
Oh my god, John.
What? Just carry on doing it.
Rude. I'm gonna start doing it to you. Every time you go to roll. Nat one.
Fuck you. You've already done that to me.
No, I haven't. When
Yes,
have we ever played something that
I have
involves a
got
nat one?
recorded fucking proof of you doing that to me in a
Yeah,
Mutants and Masterminds game.
Oh yeah, no, I probably did do it then.
Yeah. If I had time, I would fucking go through that and just find that clip, and I'm gonna find the clip. I'm gonna fucking post it.
Whoops.
Give me that fucking shit.
So I also want to play a Jurassic Park game since we're talking about games. I promise you. Okay, Choo Choo Atlas moment. You ready for this? Talking about the game, I'm laughing. I'm like, God, my laugh is annoying. And then I thought about that new sound, the dinosaur that just came out, that laughing hyena dinosaur, how terrifying it sounds.
I've
And then I was
not
like,
even heard
ooh,
that.
you got to look it up. It is downright horror movie terrifying. Like I'm sorry. I wish I could remember the dinosaur's name, but it's an audio of like a laughing hyena dinosaur. It's their newest dinosaur audio that they have scientifically come up with. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's still horrifying to think of like being out in the jungle and like surviving as a caveman or something, and then you hear that like but it made me want to play a Jurassic Park game, which I don't even know how the hell you'd play a Jurassic Park game, but I want to play a Jurassic Park game.
There is shit. There is a Cypher System game which has dinosaurs. I actually was looking it up because I was revisiting the well of Cypher System the other day. It's kind of going, have I given this a good enough chance?
Oh, you know what? I just Googled it because I'm that person. Jurassic Park TTRPG. And
Okay.
someone asked the question. They're like, hey, what would be a good thing to run this with? And there's obviously some like, Escape from Dino Island, some little things like, oh, do this. But someone just posted saying I'd run it using Alien.
Interesting. I see that.
I do too. Like, it's an enemy that's smarter and scarier than people originally thought. Obviously, in my personal opinion, you could use Savage Worlds, and this person commented on that as well. Savage Worlds could totally do Jurassic Park, but I like the idea of using Alien. Like, that's kind of a cool idea. We're just gonna have a whole session one day of us just like brainstorming like Frankenstein systems to play games whatever we want.
Well, the one I found, I saw, was Predation.
Oh, okay.
So
that actually, when I just Googled it, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a Cypher System. And I think Cypher System you have to kind of be invested in, which is why I'm struggling. I've got like so many fucking Cypher games, but I'm really struggling to get on board with it. But yeah, so basically Predation, let me just find a blurb for it. It's a
Yeah.
little sci-fi, a little post-apocalypse, a whole lot of dinosaurs. It says, welcome to the Cretaceous. Our dinosaurs won't climb down from the trees for another 60. Our ancestors, sorry, won't climb down from the trees for another 66 million years. But here we are now. Time travel seemed like a good idea. Exploring the ancient world, building, create an entire society here in the jungles of our primordial Earth. So basically, you see people who have strapped saddles onto dinosaurs.
I There's a TV show forever ago that had that. What was that?
There was a Dino Riders. There's a cartoon.
Was it?
I had the Tyrannosaurus. It was fucking awesome.
Oh man, that sounds so much fun. I mean, really, you could do any. Sorry, Bella's growling at something. Speaking of dinosaurs, there's so many good systems out there that could be used for that. Chat suggested Year Zero rules. I just looked that up. That could be used totally.
Yeah, Year Zero's are good. I mean, it's Free League. Everything they fucking touch is
Ah,
phenomenal.
gold. Like, I don't even have to like the idea. If someone's like, "Hey, Free League," I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll play." I don't know what it is that we're playing, but I'll play.
Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to find the. Yeah. Holy shit. The Dino Riders Tyrannosaurus Rex is now like £500 on eBay.
What?
It's like, shit, if only I'd have kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not keep it though.
I want to ride a dinosaur. Now I want to ride a dinosaur. We need to run a game
That
where I
may
can
be a
ride
bit
dinosaur.
harder. Yeah, that may be a bit complicated.
I mean, oh, wait. Fabula Ultima, right? Like my character just was supposed to be getting her mecha.
Yeah.
Let's make it a dinosaur mecha because that makes sense. But I don't care. It's anime.
No, I mean you could do it. You can.
I was gonna do like
one of
an
the
exoskeleton, like alien exoskeleton suit, but now
Yeah,
it's
one of the
going.
one of the mechs you can use is a steed. So you can pilot a steed, so you can have it as a
I
dinosaur.
need to talk to Couch.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, definitely. I'm enjoying I've got my piloting Couch's other fabulous game.
I know. I want to play so bad. I want to play so bad. Like, Couch just had to go get a better job. Whatever.
Let me get this vacation out of the way, and we'll start marking out dates for wrapping up certain things.
Yeah.
And then we will decide whether we're going to carry on streaming games or not.
I just want to play them, even if
that's it. I just want to play the fucking games.
Let's just play games, and then we can talk about it, and then people can be like, "Join us. We can play games together in a happy little harmony world where we blow things up while riding dinosaurs."
There you go, blowing things up while riding dinosaurs. That is the fucking dream.
It really is. Like, I don't understand. Like, people have to complicate things. I'm like, I just want to ride a dinosaur.
Yep, I don't. Yep, I want to ride dinosaurs. Everybody wants to ride dinosaurs. And I'm sure there are people out there that want to have sex with them.
Oh, see,
there's a kink for everything.
There is. Normally,
someone out there wants to dinosaurs.
And that's when I tap out. Nope.
So I'm going to use that awkward silence now to say a quick hello to our friends. So 13th Moon Games is a family-run indie game company out of Wyoming, USA that created the tabletop role-playing game Covenant Crucible. It's a game of modern-day witchcraft. If you can imagine the John Wick movies and the last Witch Hunter movie got together and had a really pretty baby, Covenant Crucible would be it. If you want to learn more, you're interested in joining the official Discord game, check them out on Instagram and message them there. Also, step into a universe where fandoms collide. Welcome to Crossing the Nerdverse, your ultimate portal to all things geeky and glorious. Whether you're into comics, gaming, or sci-fi, they've got you covered. Discover exclusive interviews, epic debates, and insider tips from your favorite creators. So join the adventure over at crossingthenerdverse.com. As for us, you can check out our merch store where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, desk mats, and other items, either with our logo, our supernatural-inspired waffle-on design, or our Moves Like Atlas design, which is currently being modeled by Atlas.
And we won't hate you if you dissect it like I do. I don't wear any of my clothes.
No, that's absolutely fine. If you want to support us more directly, you can head to our Ko-fi page and make a one-time donation or subscribe to our $3 a month tier, which will give you exclusive Discord access and a mention in our credits. And as always, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button and telling your friends about us. But yeah, you know, give us £3 a month, $3 a month, and come join us in the Traveler's Chalice.
After the dino thing, £3 a month. I just can't.
Yeah, well, it's pound some dinos in Traveler's Chalice.
Oh, I want dino nuggies now.
Your mind is the equivalent of a whack-a-mole.
You have no idea.
Just where we're gonna go. Just
it's a blessing and a curse, but legit, my friends joke about Choo Choo Atlas. That's why I said that earlier, because it's a train. Like you either jump on the train and whoo, or it goes right past you. So I have these mental train moments where, in the blip of a second, I'll be like 5 different stories down the road. It's like,
so going back to when you say dino nuggies, you actually mean nuggets in the shape of dinosaurs.
yeah, chicken nuggets in the shape of dinosaurs. Yeah.
I had something from Taco Bell the other day, which is a definitely game changer for me. Well, they called them chicken nachos.
What?
So basically, they were like chicken nuggets,
yeah,
but thinner and in the shape of nachos. With like,
do we have that here?
With like nacho cheese on top of them. It was like,
what the hell?
Fuck me, they were good.
Do we have that here? Has anybody had that here?
I don't know. I'm not even sure if I'm getting the name right, but they were fucking glorious.
Like that sounds like our chalupa, kind of, sort of, not really. I'm not.
I don't know. They were.
Wait. Naked crispy chicken taco. There it is. Oh.
No, that's crispy taco. No, nachos. Sorry, chicken nachos.
Oh, nachos.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, hold on now, because that's even. I have a thing for nachos.
Yeah. So there were chicken nachos. So yeah, I said the wrong word. You can tell I'm Spanish and not Mexican.
That's funny. Oh man. They're like, oh. And if they had like that, the fries, the nacho cheese fries, dust on them.
Yep, they do. The crispy chicken seasoned with a blend of Mexican spices. Yep, they were nice.
Where's the nearest taco?
But anyway, should we get back to tabletop role playing?
Yes, for tabletop role playing game tonight, Connell, can you please order some of these? He's the only person with a Taco Bell near
him. No, they were fucking good. All right, so
oh my god.
So every week, I try sort of mention a system, and we've called it John's Junk or Juan's Junk up until now. I had the idea of calling it Wanderings over in the Traveler's Chalice, which I thought was fucking genius. So I'm going to stick with that until something better comes along.
The Wanderings.
But to kind of highlight, I'm going to talk today about not a system. Instead, I'm going to talk about the absence of a system.
Oh.
So this is something that over on Blue Sky, Prismatic Wasteland,
that's a
posted a Blue Ski. Still keeping that, by the way. And basically, it was. I'll find the actual Blue Ski now.
Okay.
And it was. I started a campaign without a game system, collectively designing any rules as they were needed. Here's how my Calvin Ball experiment fared, and the rules we patched together. So I will now quickly share this because I found it very fucking interesting.
Also, I like how we're both sporting hats today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it works. Hat
Yeah.
Bros. So basically, in the final 3 months of 2024, I ran something of a thought experiment disguised as a game among a handful of players in my Discord server. It was inspired, as these things often are, by a Facebook screenshot that somehow made its way to me, adrift on the rubbish-strewn seas of social media. Rather than potentially dox this person who I do not know, I'll transcribe their post for my edification, your titillation. So basically what they did, they created a homebrew rules deck that they wrote and imported as they go. When they need a rule, they just have a quick chat about what the gameplay should feel like. You draft the rules on index cards, add them to our table's homebrew deck, and the first time a character was dropped to 0 HP, we paused the game and asked, what happens next? How lethal should this be? Is the character dead or injured or what? And then had an honest talk about what feels fun to everybody and imported rules that supported those vibes. So this person actually did this for 3 months.
Huh.
And he says that arguably what we ended up with was as much as a story game as it was OSR inspired.
Hmm.
And he could run the experiment 100 times over and never come up with the same rules twice. So basically, he's actually laid out some of the rules. So, rule number 2, wealth bands. Each band has a usage die associated. Spending on something major for that wealth band requires a roll. Rule 3, deception. There's a dice chain that goes from D12 to D4. An NPC has a skepticism die, a PC has a reputation score. If skepticism die rolls higher, the NPC is skeptical. If it rolls it higher again, they just flat out don't believe. And you roll the skepticism die when the PC lies. And he's just like done all these rules that they've come up with on the fly. I just wanted to get your opinion on that. How would you, because you're a rules person.
Yeah.
You're very much a rules person. Would you be comfortable playing something like that where you kind of go, we're starting out with no rules and we'll just make it up as we go along?
I don't know how I feel about that. And not for the reason that I think you think I would. Like, okay. Could I play it? Yes. Would I have fun? Yes. I would really have to go into it knowing that it was a group project and not a you ever played that game where you and a bunch of your friends all sit in a circle and you tell a story because one person will say a sentence, next person say a sentence, next person say a sentence. Okay. That is a fun game. I like that. This gives me that vibes, right? I liked playing that. I had no problem playing that as a kid. But then sometimes like I wanted to sit down at a campfire and I wanted someone to tell me a story. You know what I mean? So I think I could play that. I think that's man, I don't know. Like I like the idea. I really like the idea. Like don't get me wrong, I love the idea. I would have to be in the right mood for it. Like, but I feel like that's such a duh answer. Like duh. But I don't know. That'd be something interesting to try. I definitely want to try it. Would that be my go-to way of doing all my games? No, hands down, no.
I know Connell is reeling in the chat over.
He is. He just posted at that point, why bother with rules at all?
But there are rules. The only thing is you create them, you discuss them as a table and just kind of go, right, how do we want to do this?
Yeah, because like I that's where my brain went with him. I said my brain did the same thing as you were talking about the rules. I was like, what's the point then? But it's because when that comes up again, you use that as the rule.
Yeah, it becomes the codified rule. So basically, the first time something happens, okay, so I want to roll. I don't know. I want to jump over this puddle. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think? What do we think? How do we think we should do this? And just basically start and I think you'd have to start with a base.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to start with a base of going, right, okay, so we're going to start with D20 attribute scores and that's it. And then kind of go, okay, so what skills do you think we need? And then, okay, so, and you start building it bit by bit.
That's not rules though.
But you would need to start. I think you would need to start with that.
See, unless then you're talking about like group building a system, not like but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but you'd have to start with something. I think. If not, you could start from the beginning and just kind of go, all right, okay, what do you think defines your character?
Huh.
You know?
I don't know. Yeah, like if it's interesting. Because part of me is like, if I'm creating a character to, okay, we've talked about this. I build characters to further a story, like to further a vibe or an atmosphere. So like if I'm building a character and everybody has their hands into how skills and sets are like played out, like that's going to be really hard, because then I feel like the focus is so much on like a group project of let's create the rules and let's create the system, that you kind of lose the element of like playing your character, and it becomes more of a game of let's build a game instead of let's tell a story with our characters. I could be wrong, but that's how it comes off to me a little bit. I think that'd be my biggest struggle. That I would play it. I would try it, absolutely. I just don't know how well I'd be able to, like, I feel like at that point for me it would turn into a like a project game, like a building game, and less of a RP game,
Hmm.
because then I'm focused more on like, like you said, well, what are the stats? What are we going to agree with abilities and, numbers and this and numbers and that, and it wouldn't be, this
But
is the story in the world.
that would be session 1.
But if every time you sit down to play, you add more rules.
But you add rules as you go along. So you
Yeah.
right, the first session or the first couple of sessions would, okay,
Yeah.
let's build our characters. Okay, so what do we find is necessary to describe our characters? And you discuss it with the rest of the table and just kind of go, right, should we use Cypher where we've got pools? Should we use something like D&D where we've got the 6 attributes? Should we
Yeah.
use, and just kind of start there and just kind of
Yeah.
go, okay, so these are the attributes you're using. Now, how does your character fit in with that?
Yeah.
And you
It'd
kind of,
definitely be an interesting social experiment. Like I kind of want to
I'd be
watch someone do it.
100% up for that.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting social experience for sure.
I'd be 100% up for that. And and it's not necessarily creating rules, it could be quite easily importing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
So
if I could import Connell's house rules for hero points in every game, I would. Like, I love that rule so much, and I don't even think it's original Mutants Masterminds. I think it's like his version of it. I love it. I love it so much, because like I think that is something that, slightly off tangent, but still game related. If your character if you as a person are able to do something, I think your character should be able to at least attempt it. Like, people have these amazing feats of adrenaline where they're capable of doing something they normally wouldn't. It's within their wheelhouse. You hear about these guys that rip, doors off their cars that are flipped under to get to their kid.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to do that in game, whereas like, do you have the strength for that? No, but I'd like to use an awesome point or a hero point or whatever point it is.
Yeah, I mean, a metagame currency is always.
Yeah. It's I don't want to say essential, but I think it creates some really cool story points.
I think it does.
Yeah.
But I think players having sort of the input with the story, I think is great. And that's one of the reasons why I love Blades in the Dark, because it isn't a case of, okay, you fail. It's a case of, this happens as a consequence of what you did.
Right.
Or what you didn't quite accomplish. And everything you do moves the story forward. And the players, they have a lot of abilities to kind of go, right, I want to use this. I want to use a flashback to say that I had prepared for this.
Yeah.
And they've got a resource they can use to implement that.
Yeah.
And I think I will always sing the praise of that system, because I think it is.
I like Shadowrun
fantastic
for that reason a little bit, because whenever you're about to do a gig as a team, like everybody chipped in to talk about what aspect of what needed to be covered. And the face would talk about stuff for the face, the tech would be the tech. It was all, everybody came to the table and you figured out a plan together. It wasn't just like, okay, here is how we do this thing. And that I really appreciate about Shadowrun, because that was a group project without it being, I guess, out of character, which was go back to that what, the non-system system, whatever that, what was the name? You just had it up.
Which what have I had up?
The one where everybody helps
Deathmatch
make the
Island?
rules.
Pardon?
No, the one where like we just had it up. Everyone helps make the rules. I think
Oh,
that would take...
there's no, it's not a system. This is just something somebody did.
I think that would be, again, it'd be a fun experiment, but for me, I think that would take me so far out of playing the. I just said this at the beginning of the stream. Like when I GM, I love GMing, but the game that I play right after I GM is always this like, So if I had to go into a game where I'm helping make up the rules, I'd be kind of like, I don't want to make up the rules. I want to play.
No,
And
I'd definitely,
for some people, they'd be the same amount of like, yeah, no, this would be great. I think I would struggle with that because like I
I'd
don't.
definitely be
Yeah.
interested in trying it. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
I'm gonna get a group of people together,
Do it.
and we're gonna give it a go and just see
And
what
don't even
comes out the other side.
don't even stream it. Just record it. I want to see what it looks like after.
I'll tell you, I'll write down the rules.
Yeah.
But just quickly before we end,
Yeah.
last week I asked a question as to for people to tell us the funniest thing that's happened in their sessions. So we're just going to
Yeah.
kind of read these out quickly.
Yep.
So first of all, TMAC 9K says to set up some background. The GM was running a game where one of us was the king. I was the prince. 2 other players were my sister and one of the family's servants. All of a sudden, all of us had special powers. It turned out the powers were related to the bloodline. Okay, I said to myself, that means our servant is actually my half brother. These things happen. We move on. A few scenes later, we find a young peasant girl with the same powers. So Dad got around. And then the climactic scene where we run into about half a dozen people with the same powers who were behind all of our troubles. Dad got around a lot. Exasperated, I turned to the king and exclaimed, by the 4 and 20 balls of the apostles, Father, when did you find time to rule?
That's good. I like that.
All right, so Flashheart88 says, playing in a pub one shot, and my character, half orc barbarian, is covering the rear with dex-based paladin as we retreat to the exit. Suddenly, we find ourselves in the middle of quicksand, having to make strength saves as the portal in front of us starts to shrink slowly. The rest of the party makes it through, but the paladin keeps getting stuck. Leave me, he shouts, and my PC instead picks him up, rages, and starts charging towards the exit. Hit me, I cry, to maintain the rage. We're getting close, but the DM announces that it looks like the portal will close next round, and I have to jump for it, but it'll be a high DC if I'm still carrying the paladin. The other player and I hold hands as I roll. Natural 20. As we hurtle through the portal, we're both badly singing I Will Always Love You from the Bodyguard, D&D Friends for Life.
I love that. That's good. I've used that before. One of my friends and I were playing a game. I don't remember which one of us was barbarian, but one of us yelled at the other one, hit me!
Tarek DVA over on Blue Sky says, first thing I can think of is party comes up to a statue of an orc god. No one can guess who it is. Bad rolls all around. My character, who hates orcs with a passion, says probably a god of war since that's all the orcs have. Rolls a 2 on a religion, and the DM says, you're right.
Question mark?
Yeah. And Connell says, I was running a session where I was going around the room asking each player to pick a number between 1 and 10, then giving them a random result of their activities. Simple thing. I get to Atlas, and I ask her the same question. Pick a number between 1 and 10. No hesitation, full chest. Replies
15!
with 15. Room breaks into hysterics as it takes her a moment to realize that 15 is not, in fact, a number between 1 and 10. Probably the hardest we ever laughed at game.
Remember what I said about not wanting to math during game?
So, yeah, that is all the answers to this week's question. Next week's question will be posted tomorrow.
Okay.
As will the edited version of this episode will be live tomorrow morning. The live replay will be live on YouTube as soon as I edit the description and hit save.
Which always includes our pre-game party and our post-game party.
Which always includes our pre-game party and our post-game party.
Just us being boring as hell.
But I think that's pretty much all we've got time for tonight. I just want to thank everyone in the chat who's joined us. We love you guys. It's always great to see you. I want to thank you, Atlas, for joining me this evening. If you want to tell people whereabouts they can find you on the internet.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. Blue Sky, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear.
As for me, you can find me at natural.juan on most social media services. I'm probably most active on Threads and Blue Sky, but I've also got a TikTok account. On TikTok and TikTok, I'm still too legit to crit, but I'm behind most of our social media presence. So if something we do annoys you, it's going to be me. and I'm going to get great pleasure out of it.
Also true story.
So, last thing, and definitely not least, I want to thank everybody who's taken time out of their busy day to listen to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.
Peace out. Except the peace out isn't actually out.
All right. All done. I'm going to end the stream now.
Oh man.
Fuck, that was a